Women, what isn't nearly as attractive as many guys think it is? So, what do you guys think it is? I'm curious. Before I give you the answer here, that's going to show up on this post. I want to know, what do you think that the thing is? Now it's funny because my wife sent me this and she was like, "Oh, see, I told you it's I'm into it, but a lot of women are not." Which, when she said that, I knew that that was not necessarily true. Uh, I mean, she's not lying about her preference, but I know that a lot of women do lie about this. So the answer here is, as you might have guessed it, muscles. I'm okay with the dad bod. Look at that, 391 upvotes. I don't even know what the next one is there, but all these women saying yes. So what I want to talk about today is why women lie about not being attracted to men with muscles. Why women lie about preferring dad bods, right? Now, there's been a lot of debate on this. There's a lot of studies that I could cite that show, preferences and what it really comes down to, if you read all the studies and most of the things that people have said, which again, it's hard to really be sure of this data, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but at least what the data seems to indicate is that women do prefer muscular men, but not extremely muscular, not bodybuilder, ripped, shredded physiques. The funny thing about this is that that's even wrong. Okay, let me tell you why. The reason why that is wrong is because when you see when they do a comparison, when they show women pictures, they ultimately show a bodybuilder that is on stage that nobody thinks that looks attractive. Right? It's not. First of all, it's artificial in the sense that those are extremely low body fat levels. They're not holding those levels. They're depleted water, right? They are tanned up. There's the lighting, they're oiled up. It's just not realistic. If you saw one of those guys after the competition on the street or at the gym, they would look a lot different and they would look a lot more aesthetic. So I'm not saying that women prefer the huge size necessarily, but women lie about this. But at the same time, you have to understand, as a guy, it's not nearly as important as what you think it is, right? So it is true. What they say is that if you go to the gym, if you get jacked and you get big muscles, that more gay men will be attracted to you than women, right? So the thing about this is there's a couple things to understand about this. It is deeply rooted in female psychology. Female psychology is fairly complicated, right? I've made it a passion of mine, a undertaking of mine to deeply study female psychology, and I have a lot of experience and knowledge in this area, and so I'm going to kind of dissect some of these things for you. So the first thing about this to understand in terms of female psychology is that women want a man that we know that is tall, that is strong, that can protect her, right? So that is really what's driving this. And the thing about it is that that's not the main thing, right? So if you are extremely attractive as a man, you might think, and again, we can get into the debate of this, but look, you might think that is the primary thing that's going to get you later, get women to want to be with you, but that's not true. It does mean that you will have more success and you'll have more short-term success with women. That is absolutely true. But when a woman evaluates a man, she does not, let me put it this way, okay? If you have a woman that is extremely physically attractive, right? She's got big boobs, she's got a nice butt, right? Whatever, she's pretty. Men will choose that woman regardless of other negative attributes. They will want to be with that woman or at least sleep with that woman, right? Women don't operate the same way. They could see a man that is extremely attractive, has all these physical traits, and they're not necessarily, I mean, they might be attracted to him, but that will be a short attraction. It's an initial attraction. Once they meet him, once they know more about him and understand the bigger picture, that will determine their true attraction and desire, and they could lose that very quickly, right? So I'm not saying that it doesn't matter at all, but what I'm saying is that it's not the whole of the evaluation. it's a percentage, and it's an initial impression. And ultimately, what it comes down to is the entire picture is what a woman sees of a man. And so she sees him more attractive if other elements align, right? And mostly when we're talking about other elements, it's status, right? It's the social status that he has in the context at that point in her eyes, right? And so if she sees him as a high status person, again, doesn't mean that he has to actually be high status in real life, but in that context, right? If other women are attracted to him, if he carries himself well, if the way that he converses, if he's humorous, he's funny, he seems confident, like these things make him seem to have a high status, which women want what is valuable. If he appears to be valuable, they want him, right? So with that said, let's break down the whole muscles thing and why women lie about this, right? So again, like I said, it's not the most important thing, but any woman, if you take the same exact guy, she would prefer him to have more muscles rather than less muscles. She'd prefer him to be at a lower body fat rather than a higher body fat, up to a point, right? Obviously, if you go to an extremely low body fat, but none of you guys have to worry about that. So it seems weird that women say, no, I actually prefer the dad bod, right? That I don't want, and some people would say, oh, it's a turnoff for a guy to have muscles. And there's all kinds of justifications, right? I've heard them all. Women say, oh, well, I don't want a guy that's more attractive than me because that's a threat. And I don't want a guy that works on himself more than me because that's feminine. These things are not really true. It's sort of like when a girl says, I don't like blonde guys. You know, it's like, okay, yeah. But please don't even try and tell me. Don't even try and tell me you don't find this guy attractive. It's fine. Like don't even. All right. And I'm not saying that's always not true, but what I'm saying here is that there's kind of a deeper psychology going on here, right? And the biggest piece of this is that women have to hide their mate preferences. Right? I'll repeat that. Women have to hide their mate preferences. What does that mean? It means that they cannot just tell guys exactly what they want. Now, some of this is subconscious. Some of it is conscious, right? Most of it is subconscious, right? So when women, this is why guys are like, oh, don't ask a fish how to catch a fish. Ask a fisherman. Okay, but talk to the fish, right? I was talking to my wife about this. She's like, it's I get that, like, not asking the fish how to fish, but you should still talk to the fish to find out what the fish likes, right? Or to find out some things about the fish. Again, you're not going to necessarily get a straight answer about what the fish likes in this case, but you can kind of you can see what the fish is going for. And that's really the thing to look at, right? That's why I say read romance novels as a guy, because that's what the fish is going for. And on the cover of every romance novel is a jacked, muscular guy, right? I mean, please, please. All right. And so the first thing is that it's hiding the mating preferences. And the second thing is the sexual desire versus the long-term commitment desire. And we'll get to that second one in a second. First, let's talk about that, the hiding the mating preferences. So why do women have to do this? Well, because if women's mating preferences were just out there in the open, if women said this honestly, if guys knew what they were, if it wasn't somewhat of a mystery, then men would just pretend to have all the things that women want, right? See, because men are always trying to figure out what do women actually want, what and there's so much debate about this, right? So it is obvious that it's not clear to most men. So because some guys are like, oh, women just like chats, they just like an attractive man. Oh, he's got to be 6 feet tall. He's got to have six-pack abs. He's got to have. Some guys are like, just money. Money's the thing, right? Most men attribute whatever the thing that women wants is the thing that they're lacking, right? But there's debate about this. Status. What exactly is it that women want in a man? What are their actual preferences? Do they want a kind guy? Maybe not. They want an asshole, right? It's like, how do you even know this? And that's the whole point, is because if you had the formula, you could just do that, right? I mean, you could just dress the part. You could just act the part. You could just pretend the thing. You could just acquire the money. But the reason why women have to hide these things is because if you grab them in isolation, they're meaningless. It's sort of a fake, right? Guys will pretend to be the thing that women are attracted to once they know what that is, and that exists all throughout the animal kingdom is posers, there's pretenders. And so there's a protection against that. So that's why women don't actually tell you what they really want. But if you look at what they're going for, you will see, right? I mean, let's just use some examples, right? We can just common sense this out for ourselves, okay? Romance novels, covers of romance novels. Attractive muscular guys or guys with dad bods, okay? Hollywood heartthrobs, okay? If we look at what Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, I don't know, The Rock. I mean, he was, the sexiest man, whatever. Most of these guys, right? Aside from the teenage heartthrob type of things, and there's some exceptions, of course, but most of them are muscular, right? Even Jack Efron, right? But you understand what I'm saying? Like look at those examples, right? Now, yeah, you can look at other examples of Post Malone and rappers, and I did a whole video on this, and but these guys have status; they're rock stars, okay? So that's different. But when you look at just, would women prefer those guys to have more muscles? For sure. When you look at, okay, let's look at this. Chip and Dale dancers. I guess it's not as big of a thing anymore, but Magic Mike. Any of those guys pudgy, dad bods on Magic Mike? Why are women paying to go see, Magic Mike? Why do they do that on a girls' night out? Why are they? What is the thing about that? Right, it is because that is what they prefer. They don't prefer dad bods, otherwise there'd be like a dad bod show. Okay, so women are lying about it. Maybe not consciously, but they are lying about it. Now, the second piece of this, and the reason why women might consciously lie about this, is because women aren't interested in just hooking up with a guy or just having sex with a guy for the most part, right? So, and this is weird because women don't quite get this. Because a woman would be like, yeah, this guy's the most attractive guy. I'm most sexually attracted to him, but he's not the guy I want. I want this guy because this guy has all these other things and he's the package. That's how women think. Believe me, I know a lot of you guys don't think that's the case, but I promise you that's the case. No, we don't like that as men. We want to be the one that she's the most sexually attracted to. I was talking about this the other day. It's like, you're not getting it as a woman. Like, I don't care that you think I'm a great guy. I want to know that you want to fuck me. That's what I want to know, right? That's what men want to know, right? That's what we want, the desire of a woman, right? And so when women lie about the muscles thing, what she's really saying, she's saying, look, I don't care if you're more physically attractive. That's not enough. I want the bigger package. I'd rather you have a dad bod and be a good masculine man that's loyal and reliable and understands my emotions and takes care of me and makes me feel like a woman than be this just super attractive guy that's, maybe fun in the bedroom, but is dumb and is an asshole and just not someone who I would want to be with. I don't want to date that guy, right? Maybe I would, have sex with that guy if I'm drunk and whatever, and I'm just looking to score, which is not very often for women. But obviously as men, we don't want to hear that, but that is the truth of the situation, and you have to be careful with that as a man because you don't want to be that. I mean, it's fine if a woman wants you for those other attributes, but you want to make sure that she does have a high sexual desire for you as well, because that is very important. And it's kind of flip on the other side, right? As a man, you want, a woman doesn't want you to just be attracted to her physically. She wants you to value her other traits. Whereas as a man, we kind of, it's kind of a little bit reversed if you think about it, right? And I won't get into the details of that, but just to understand, like, that's one of the reasons why women lie about it, is because they are almost like, well, if I tell men that I want this, that I'm attracted to muscles, to the thing I'm actually sexually attracted to, then men will think that that's what I want, and that's not what I want. I want the whole package, right? If you happen to have the muscles on top of it, it's a bonus, but women don't even say that, right? And then, another reason why women say this is because women, you have to understand psychologically, they're a lot different than men in terms of how they view relationships and value people and hierarchy, right? So as a man, I believe in hierarchy. I see and evaluate things. Women, they don't want to, they tend to go with the underdog. They tend to look at the marginalized group. So women are like, oh no, dad bods are okay, right? And part of the reason for that is because it makes them feel okay, right? So if women are like, no, I like muscular guys, well, if they're not as attractive, if their bodies aren't as good, then it's kind of a threat to them. So by them saying, no, dad bods are okay, it's almost them saying, no, I'm okay how I am. That's what's really coming out there. Even though, again, if you looked at their Kindle reading list, it would be romance novels with attractive guys that are buff on there. If you looked at what movies they watch and what things that they stimulate them sexually, it would be attractive guys that have muscles, right? So that's the thing to understand about this. It is a complicated thing, but women lie about a lot of different things, and it's not necessarily on purpose. Some of it is, but it's a lot subconscious because that psychology is complex on how women view things and think about things. That's why you can't just go on what women say all the time. Now you can listen to what they're saying and you can get some information from that, but yeah, it's not true that women, don't like muscles. Now, with that said, like I said at the beginning of this video, if you have a lot of muscles, if you just build muscle and you get, a perfect physique, that will go some way in your success with women. Believe me, and here's what I can tell you about this, right? From my own experience, okay? Because I've been, if you've seen my before and after photos, I've been a fat, pudgy kind of guy, dorky guy, and I've been jacked and ripped, and and I can tell you what the difference is in terms of women, right? There are definitely were times where women would just sleep with me just because I was jacked, right? Like I just match on Tinder and come straight over. Like that is definitely the case, right? That definitely does happen. All right. However, it doesn't necessarily, you still have to understand what you're doing and still have to have some game. Like it's not just going to work, and you still are going to have to, when I went out and did pick up and talk guys pick up, I still had to go out and approach. Very rarely did a woman approach me, even if I'm jacked at a pool party, right? It's easy for me to approach because women's like, okay, I like what I'm seeing here, right? But it's not as impactful. Whereas if a woman has a very, very nice body, very good physique, she's going to just draw all kinds of attention. Men are just going to approach her left and right, right? That's what happens. So you do have to understand that just because women do like muscles doesn't mean that they're the most important thing. And I know it's confusing, and women are confusing. If you want some help with women, by the way, I am opening up a few slots in a one-on-one coaching for relationship and dating coaching for men, mostly focus on the psychology of women. So if you're, it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum there in terms of whatever your struggle is with women. I've faced it myself, right? So if you are trying to just date, trying to get a woman to be attracted to you, need some help with that, believe me, I can help transform you there. If you are in a relationship and it's not going so well and you need some help there, and marriage falling apart, whatever, if you're going through a divorce, I can help you there. If you just finished a divorce, I can help you there. I've been through all the things. I've coached guys on all the things, and understanding the true psychology of women and how to be a masculine man in a relationship is the most important thing. Just shoot me an email, john@bulldogmindset.com, and we'll talk about it, see if you're a good fit. I'm only taking a few guys right now before I launch a bigger program of relationship coaching for men that I'm going to be putting out there. But yeah, I'll see you guys.